Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we got a couple new products from HDZero in partnership with Happy Model and RunCam. As always, I'm Jeff with Titan FPV. Let's dive in. First order of business, guys, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. Click that notification bell and you'll be notified when I upload all new content like this to the channel. Okay, guys, so we'll just dive right in. I'm excited to announce that HDZero's dropped a couple new products that are very revolutionary in the FPV world. We've got a new flight controller. That's the HDZero AIO5. It's an all-in-one flight controller with HDZero built in, the first of its kind. And we have a new analog HD camera. It's the FPV Lux camera from RunCam. I know it's been a moment since I've had any new uploads. Had a lot of stuff going on here, guys, but I'm happy to be back, and you should be able to look forward to new content coming out shortly here. So let's start off with what's in the flight controller box here. Like I said, this is a partnership with HDZero and Happy Model. It's the first of its kind, so it's a all-in-one flight controller with HDZero built in, as well as it has an SPI Express LRS receiver inside. So let's open it up and see what comes in the box. All right, so we've got some plugs. If you don't want to direct solder your motors, you will have to solder these up though. So if you want to save some weight, you may just want to set those aside and directly solder your motors. All right, looking at the flight controller itself, looks like it does have a micro USB port. I don't know if that was just cost savings or weight savings versus USB-C. This is a 5 amp 4-in-1 flight controller, 5 amps per ESC. It does have a BMI 270 gyro. The chipset on here is going to be the F411. It's familiar for a lot of us here. You do see there's a soldered antenna on here for the Express LRS 2.4 receiver. So many of us fly Express LRS, so that's going to be a great combo. You do have a UFL connector for the 0.8 gigahertz HDZero VTX. You can see the soldering pads here. So, I mean, they're doable. I think there is at least one extra UART if you wanted to solder up something like Crossfire for some reason, but people still are flying Crossfire, I believe. There's not another receiver option available currently, so it's just Express LRS, which for me, that works great. A 5 amp 4-in-1 ESC, they're BL Heli S. I think they're flashed with Blue Jay out of the box. Don't quote me on that. It's a 1S flight controller, so I think Carl has mentioned potentially the option for a 2S flight controller in the future, but I don't know how near on the horizon that is. This is the GMB A30 connector. You can use the Beta FPV BT 2.0 batteries. That's what I've switched to on my Whoops finally. So those are compatible. I think it might just be like a little tighter fit there, but that's good. And you've got your gummies, and then your super lightweight dipole antenna, a few screws to mount the flight controller. This is going to be a great option if you're wanting to build a Whoop, specifically a 65mm, 75mm, any 1S Whoop. I do believe I've seen somebody actually build a baby tooth with this setup. So I don't know how reliable those 5 amp ESCs are going to be. So if you're interested in building a HDZero baby tooth, post that in the comments. What kind of build do you have in store for this? All right, so let's get a weight for the flight controller here. So it looks like 5.8 grams for just the flight controller. You're going to add a few grams for the screws and gummies and battery connector. So Definitely going to save some grams for you on those lightweight builds. I think several people have come in with, I want to say 17-gram dry builds. So definitely some good weight savings for you. It's exciting stuff here. Came up with a new camera as well. So now these analog HD cameras are a little bit different how they connect. So they don't connect with a MIPI cable. So for weight savings and I would say for cost savings, they actually just use the traditional 4-wire. So you'll have to solder those directly to the board here to get your video signal from the camera to the VTX. It's actually the same format they introduced with the Eco VTX. So if you've seen the Mobula 6, it's the 2024 HDZero Eco. It's got the Eco camera, which is cheaper than this camera. The Lux camera, I think, is $44. So for a Whoop camera, it's definitely not the most affordable, but you are packing a punch here. And this just tiny package is how impressive. So just 2.3 grams, you know, and then you add the flight controller and, you know, you're well under 9 grams all up for the video system there. So you know you're going to need a flight controller anyway to build a Whoop. So it's just one less board over something like Whoop Light board. This is on the original Mobula 6 HD from a couple years ago. So you're going to save a lot. We will do a comparison, you know, the video quality, maybe range, performance versus, you know, this older style. But we've come a long way. So we started out with the original Whoop VTX when HDZero launched his Shark Bite several years ago. You may have seen one of my reviews on that. And then, you know, a couple years later, we're at the Whoop Light VTX that saved even more weight. And then, you know, just recently we had the Eco VTX. So it's a little bit more affordable system for your Whoops. But you're still going to be having 2 boards here. So you're going to have the flight controller versus your VTX. And now we have the HDZero AIO5. It's an all-in-one solution. It's a great weight savings. We'll see how durable these are because, you know, now you have everything in one, which is great. But that means if one component fails, you know, you're going to be out $100 versus, you know, a little bit less there if your flight controller fails or your receiver fails. Now, you would be able to solder up. I think there is at least an extra UART on this flight controller. I'll post it up here on the screen. So for some reason your receiver failed, I mean, you could solder up a new receiver. But other than that, I mean, if your VTX goes or one of your ESCs goes, you might as well wrap it up. I do have a 65mm build coming up. HDZero did drop a couple new Whoops. There's the Happy Model Mobula 6 Race HD. Now, the difference between that and the other one that they launched, the Freestyle, basically is the camera. So, essentially, most of it's the same, but you're going to get a different camera. So, on the Race Edition, you're going to get the lighter Eco camera. You're going to save $10. I think those are going to be coming in at $189.99. I'll post links for all this stuff here in the description. Now, these are affiliate links, so I do receive a small percentage back at no cost to you, and that does help to, you know, provide more content for the channel. So definitely click on those if you want. And then the Freestyle edition is going to be coming in at $199. It's going to have I'll post all the specs on the screen, but essentially it's just going to have the new Lux camera. That's going to be, you know, brighter, richer colors, and I believe a better dynamic range there. But you'll get some footage here once I put the build together. I've got all the parts together. Like I said, instead of waiting on one of those pre-built Happy Model Whoops, I just decided to go out and build my own this time. It's always nice to get these soldered up for you and show you guys how to set them up. Thanks for being patient while I put this content out, guys. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.